Hi. Welcome to another episode of Tech Universe.
I got to learn a lot about quantum computers there, so I'd like to share some of what I learned there with you in this article. The goal of this article is to give you an accurate intuition of what a quantum computer is using a simple example. Okay, let's get started. What is a quantum computer? Here is a one-sentence summary of what a quantum computer is. A quantum computer is a type of computer that uses quantum mechanics so that it can perform certain kinds of computation more efficiently than a regular computer can. There is a lot to unpack in this sentence, so let me walk you through what it is exactly using a simple example. To explain what a quantum computer is, I'll need to first explain a little bit about regular, non-quantum computers. How a regular computer stores information. Now, a regular computer stores information in a series of zeros and ones. Different kinds of information, such as numbers, text, and images, can be represented this way. Each unit in this series of zeros and ones is called a bit. So a bit can be set to either 0 or 1. Now, what about quantum computers? A quantum computer does not use bits to store information. Instead, it uses something called qubits. Each qubit can not only be set to 1 or 0, but it can also be set to 1 and 0. But what does that mean exactly? Let me explain this with a simple example. This is going to be a somewhat artificial example, but it's still going to be helpful in understanding how quantum computers work. A simple example for understanding how quantum computers work. Now, suppose you're running a travel agency and you need to move a group of people from one location to another. To keep this simple, let's say that you need to move only 3 people for now: Alice, Becky, and Chris. And suppose that you have booked 2 taxis for this purpose, and you want to figure out who gets into which taxi. Also, suppose here that you're given information about who's friends with who and who's enemies with who. Here, let's say that Alice and Becky are friends, Alice and Chris are enemies. Becky and Chris are enemies. And suppose that your goal here is to divide this group of 3 people into the 2 taxis to achieve the following 2 objectives. Maximize the number of friend pairs that share the same car. Minimize the number of enemy pairs that share the same car. Okay, so this is the basic premise of this problem. Let's first think about how we would solve this problem using a regular computer.